Dublin, Ohio. We're here at the Dairy Soccer Fields where we're bringing you the gold medal matches for across 3 different types of archery. We'll have barebow, compound, and recurve. I'm Dan Yassa, and alongside me today for today's matches is U.S. International McKenna Proctor, a medalist at the recent World Archery Youth Championships in Ireland.
Yeah, we're going to start today with Paige Pierce. She'll be going against Danelle Wetzel-Lutz in the compound women division. That will be followed by Grady Kane and Sawyer Sullivan for the compound men.
Then we move into barebow. Maggie Brissinger from facing Diane Cochran, and then in the men, top seed Richard Stonebreaker meeting local archer Jordan Graham.
And finally, we're going to wrap it up. Once the targets move back, we're going to go back to recurve and check out Isabella Frederick against Megan McDonough. And then wrapping it all up, we're going to see Trenton Cowles tackle double Olympic gold medalist from Atlanta, Justin Hewish.
All right, so today we're looking at like 4 or 5 mile an hour crosswinds here. Looks like these guys are getting ready to go, so should be a good match, good weather, and we'll take it from there.
On the left, on target 1, Paige Pierce. On target 2, Danelle Wetzel-Lutz. Your line judge for today, Joe Fox.
All right, this first match here, we're going to have Paige Pierce, who top qualified yesterday with a 683. Yesterday was pretty tough, and McKenna, you and I both know how bad yesterday was.
I think I saw a lot of green, a little more green than I normally see on that target.
So these girls are getting ready. She had a bye in the first round, then scores of 146, 149, and 147 on her way to the gold medal match. She beat Cassidy Cox in the semifinals, 147 to 144, and she is from California.
Yeah, here she goes, and Paige has stayed pretty strong all weekend. I know she's played it a little bit with her releases and what she wanted to shoot coming into this.
Yep.
And even today, I think I saw her playing around some more.
So now we've got Danielle Wetzel. She scored a 651 in qualification and the 6th seed. She had a bye in the 8th round. She shot scores of 146, 145, 147 on her way to the gold medal match. She beat Tanya Galantine in the semifinals, 147 to 146, and Tanya took bronze, and she lives in Wisconsin. As right now, Paige looks like she's got 2 10s. Wind seems to be picking up here a little bit. See if there's going to be making any adjustments here. Danelle in her second arrow. Another 10. So that shows we are tied right now.
That looks
and
good.
Good 30 point in to start here. See if Danelle can match her here and tie the score up. And that's a 9. So Paige is going to take a 1-point lead into the second end here. So in the compound scoring, we do a cumulative scoring where you tally up the scores through all 5 ends. You're going to shoot 15 arrows with a 150 total max. It's a little different in the recurve. We'll go over that when we get there. But basically, we're going to take every single arrow shot here counts for score.
Yep, we're at 50 meters right now, which is our compound, and for barebow, we'll be sitting here at 50 meters. The target face that we're shooting at for compound is an 80 centimeter. So it's the 10 is pretty small.
Yeah, the 10 is 8 centimeters, so it's 3.6 something inches across, about the size of a baseball.
The clouds are starting to roll in here at the Buckeye Classic with the wind picking up as well.
Yeah, this morning was really, really nice and calm.
Beautiful.
You shot some awesome scores being shot. About the middle of the eliminations, the wind kind of shifted and changed a little bit, played a little trick. Wasn't much, but it was enough to throw you off if you weren't paying attention. But right now it seems to be pretty consistent left to right as you're looking at the screen.
And the girls don't seem to be having much issue with it up there, so should not be a problem.
All right, into here, Paige is going in with a 1-point lead. So Danelle's going to start off here. Nice strong shot in the 10 there. So the wind has actually died down just a little bit the last few seconds here, so We'll see if that plays in the
9.
page there. Yep. Can't see where that arrow landed. So Danelle coming in here. We're tied score.
9.
And then another 9 opens the door for Paige here.
10.
And another 10 there. So she's back up a point. So Danelle on her last arrow here. See if she can close out with a strong 10. Bring it back in
10.
close. Yep, just catch the line on the right there. And there's a 9-8 liner. It looks like a 9. So we're going to be tied up going into the third end here. And you talked about Paige playing with her releases a little bit.
Yep.
What was she shooting to start the week with?
So I know she's been playing with her hinge all year, and I know she wasn't too happy with that, with target. So she tried to get out her finger trigger again that she shot for the longest time. And I know she's playing around with that, especially for the wind. And today means it was calm again. She decided to pull that hinge back out. And she said she was very happy with it. So I assume that's what she's shooting right now. I didn't take a good look.
Yeah, it looks like she's shooting a hinge now. So for people that don't know, a hinge actually fires off of rotation, so there's no actual trigger for it, where a finger trigger or a thumb trigger actually has a button or something to put your finger on to trip the trigger to make it go off. So when it's windy and you're kind of waiting for a hinge to go off, sometimes having a trigger can be helpful because you don't have a whole lot of time when you're on target, especially with the conditions we had yesterday.
And I know Danelle just made the switch to Matthews a couple of weeks ago. I think she's only shot maybe 1 or 2 tournaments with Matthews, and this is her first FIDA with it.
Yep.
So she's doing really well. It's very impressive with these conditions that she's able to maintain her normal scores, no issues, and she's thriving. I mean, gold medal match.
Yep. First time out with her, second time out with the new bow. It's always good to make yourself feel good. Yeah. All right, going to third here. We're at tie score 58-58. The wind did pick back up here again. The end of the last end, it died down considerably. The flags weren't blowing nearly as much as it was the first end.
X.
And X almost right on the scribe for Paige. Nice answer for Danelle. They're both hanging on that right side a little bit, it seems like. 10. Now, as you're watching these archers shoot, if you're not aware, the bigger 10 ring that they're inside of, that's really all that matters. The X's is just it's closer to the center than the outside part of the 10. So that doesn't make any bearing on the score.
X.
Good shot from Danelle there.
X.
Nice. Very good in for Paige there to
Yep.
finish. Put a little pressure on Danelle here on this end. And a 9. So Paige is going to take a 1-point lead going into the fourth end. So we'll shoot 5 ends of 3 arrows with a maximum score of 150. After 3 ends, a max score will be 90. So Paige has dropped 2 points and Danelle's dropped 3. So I know Chris and those guys have worked pretty hard getting this tournament set up. It's always one of the favorites for all the archers to come here every year. Everything always seems to run real smooth here, and all the ace archers that are helping run this event are always there to help, and they've always got a plethora of people volunteering to come out and make sure the tournament runs well every year.
And I know, especially because of the wind, a lot of missed arrows this week for all divisions, all across. And so there's a lot of arrows to be found, and they have an awesome crew that's out there all the time, finding everyone helping to find these arrows, and which is a lot of tournaments don't do that. So it's great to know that you have some help out there with a metal detector to find some of these tough arrows and these conditions.
Yeah, and I know there were a lot missed yesterday with all the wind. All right, we're heading into the fourth end here. We got Paige up by 1. 2 ends to go. So Danelle's going to lead off. So these archers have 20 seconds to get their arrow off. So in a normal qualification round, you've got
40 seconds per arrow.
Yep.
So about it's 4 minutes
4
for
minutes
all
for
6
6 arrows. Yep.
X.
Good start for Danelle. She looks a little relieved there.
Paige with a good answer. Paige is making a motion there. She's kind of fighting the wind a little bit here.
Yeah, it's
9 for
definitely picked
9.
up again.
It hasn't seemed like it's been real constant the whole time,
Mm-mm.
the whole weekend we've been here, so it's kind of changing back and forth, so you've really got to pay attention to those flags.
9.
And now she's out to the left, so I don't know if she made any click adjustments on her sight or something, or why she's off to the left now again, because the wind is blowing left to right, so I wonder if she's bubbling in or aiming off a little bit more.
And I know some of us. Ooh,
There's a low 8 for Danelle.
It's tough. Some of this wind stuff, we were kind of talking yesterday even, it's going from that calm to a windy back to calm. Sometimes you have almost a little PTSD from it.
Yes.
And you don't want to aim on because you're so used to aiming off there. So it can be difficult sometimes once that wind stops to just trust that you can aim right there, back in the center.
Yep. So Paige hit a 10 on that last arrow. It's going to give her a 3-point lead going into the last end.
Anything can happen though. You know, 3 points, especially if this wind picks up.
Yep, definitely.
It's still anyone's game here.
Yeah, and I know mentally coming into the last end, knowing you got a 3-point lead, and if you put 3 in the middle, you know you're going to win. There's no way she can catch up. So there's a little bit of added pressure there, knowing that, hey, I do my job, I put them in the middle, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
So,
and what's awesome about these two is, you know, they are friends, and so seeing them up there, they're always going to be chatting and having a good time. And even with qualifications, you know, so we're competitors, we're all friends, and these two usually have a great time up there.
Yep, and these two travel quite a bit together. They shoot a lot of the World Cups, or Paige did shoot a lot of the World Cups with all these guys, so she's a very seasoned competitor, and see if she can close this thing out here in this last end. So Danelle's going to lead off again on this 5th and final end, down by 3. Nice steady hold and a good X.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do in this. When you're down 3, you shoot the 10. You know that's the best you can do right there.
Paige with a 9-10 line. It looks like it caught.
10-9 line, mostly 10.
Danelle's bow looks really, really steady. She's aiming here.
9.
But 9.
Just a little bit low for both of those girls on those arrows.
So we keep them in the gold here, the last 2 arrows for Paige, and she's going to come away with a win here. So there's a 9. She's going to be up by 2. Danelle has to put one in the 10 here, put a little bit of pressure on Paige.
9.
And a 9. So we got 8 ring to win this. And Paige takes the win with a 10.
All right, finishing scores, you have a 145 for Paige Pierce and a 142 for Danelle Lutz, which, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. Up until that 3rd end, they were keeping it really close.
Yeah.
Didn't really know who.
The wind switch up, the wind dying, actually, is what kind of switched it up there.
Yep, and then Danelle shooting that 8 was kind of the turning point, kind of gave Paige a little bit of a foot in the door to close out the win, and she just shot real strong on the very last end and came away with the win.
And these girls getting here, like Dan mentioned earlier, they shot some really solid scores to get here. So coming in and with this wind picking up kind of at the last second, it's awesome. And they both shot really great.
Yep, so we're going to get things moving along here. We're going to get Paige on the camera here as soon as we get things done. Clouds are starting to roll in here, looking a little bit dark off to the north here. Wind is still whipping away pretty good there. Looks like we're getting close, and we're gonna go ahead and go over and have our first place interview with Paige Pierce.
And your winner of the compound women's division, Paige Pierce.
There we have the official announcement page. Conditions today compared to the last few days? Today was so much better. We had a little bit of wind out here in the final. Like any wind in a final makes it tough, but the matches up to this point were probably the best we've had this entire year. So we went from the worst day of the year to the best day of the year, so that was nice.
What is that like as an adjustment process? Because obviously, you know, today was not as bad, so you're having to cater for that.
I actually switched releases. So yesterday I shot a wrist strap release for the first time in 4 years, winged it, and then today I was planning on shooting that, and it was so calm that I was like, you know, I'm just not as consistent. I haven't done that. I'm going to go back to what I know. Tested a button this morning and a hinge, and I ended up sticking with the hinge today and just shot a hinge out here in the final. So I made a lot of changes, probably more than most people would, but I just know myself and know, you know, my equipment well enough to get away with that.
The #1 seed. I mean, look, you've been around this game long enough to know that being the chase, there's an added pressure. And then I was looking at the depth of compound women and just the talent that is kind of hovering around, and you kind of thrive on that, don't you?
I do. I love it. And just from the time I started to now, like the skill level of the compound women is insane. Just the depth and sheer numbers, but like how good they are, you know, has changed. It's impressive. And so, you know, every time you come here that it's going to be tough. Like just making it to one of these medal matches, you already feel like you won, and then you have to come out here and actually try to win. These are a little bit of my nemesis. I've been in each gold final this year against a different person each time, and this is the first one I won. I took second at the first two, so it feels good to like finally get that out of the way and under my belt.
So kind of giving you momentum for the rest of the year. What does the rest of the year hold in store?
Yeah, I have a couple different kind of tournaments. I've got some ASAs, I have some NFAAs, but we obviously have Target Nationals, and that's a 2-in-1 for me. We have the Nationals, and then we obviously have the match play day as well. So I really want to be prepared there. I'll probably have a better idea of what release I'm going to shoot, but you know, the weather, you never know. So I think it's nice to be able to show up and kind of do what you got to do based off of conditions.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, we're going to start getting ready to head into match 2. Match 2, we're going to have Grady Kane, who is 20 years old in his first. Oh, sorry, Grady, who was seeded 20th. He's actually in his first senior competition and has made it to the gold medal match. He was the bronze medalist in the team event at the recent World Archery Youth Championships in Limerick. He defeated #1 seed Stefan Hansen 147 to 146 in the match play here to make it to the semifinals, and he's from South Dakota.
Yep, and then going up against him is Sawyer Sullivan, and he actually goes straight to Berlin after this for the World Championships. And so he'll probably come in here, try to do what he can before hopping on that plane. And he beat Jimmy Lutz, actually, in the semifinals, 148 to 147, so really close match there. And Sawyer's from Minnesota.
Sawyer Sullivan.
This should be a really, really good match. Two young kids that have been coming up, shooting all the USAT stuff. I know Grady, like I said, it's his first senior competition. He's been shooting in the young adult class. And Sawyer's a young one, too. I think he broke a youth world record a few years ago.
Yeah, I think last year or 2 years ago he was breaking a whole bunch of records, jumped up to senior last year, and made the World Cup team his first year, which is really cool. And they were both actually in Ireland with me a few weeks ago and did really, really well.
Awesome. So we're going to start off here. It looks like Sawyer's going to lead off. Sawyer starts off with a really strong 10. Grady coming in. So he had to go through kind of murderer's row to get into this gold medal final here.
Yeah.
He had to. He got a nice 10 there on the right side. You happen to go through Stefan in the semifinals to make it to your first gold medal match and your first senior competition's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment.
And good group down there for Sawyer. The other one on the right side. I saw Sawyer grab a couple clicks on a scope. So on these sights, you've got micro adjust where you can move it right, left, up, down just a little bit. So it looks like you put a couple clicks in because he wasn't real happy with where it was landing, even though it was basically on the side.
Yeah, right there. Sometimes those are safety clicks for yourself mentally more than anything.
Clicks.
Yeah.
Good, strong shot for Grady there to end. Looks like we're going to come away with a perfect score for the first in.
So these guys are also at 50 meters with that same 80 centimeter target with the cumulative scoring. So do you think What do you think of cumulative versus the set points that we'll see later?
Cumulative makes every arrow matter. I
Yeah.
mean, you could, in set points, if you completely miss the target, you can still come back and win it. Where
Yep.
here, if you miss the target, you're basically down 10 points on your competitor, and it's going to take a miracle for you to be able to win
Yeah.
that match. So the match plays got its nuances where it can be fun, exciting to see someone come back and win, but to make every single arrow count,
It's a lot more
when you shoot,
pressure.
it's a lot more
Yeah.
pressure through the whole match. So set play, if you get behind in an end, you kind of, okay, let's try to work on this and see, because you don't really care where the arrow lands, because
Right.
you're going to lose the end anyway, and you're only going to lose 2 points. But this, like, you've got to keep the pedal
pressure on.
got to keep the pedal to the metal the entire 15 arrows. So they've got coaches in their coaches box with spotting scopes, kind of giving them arrow calls so they don't have to look down. Like I said, there's only 20 seconds per arrow, so it seems like a lot, but it goes quick. By
It
the
does.
time you get to full draw and anchor and get on target, 20 seconds does not seem like that much
No,
time.
especially if there's any type of, you have a doubt in your shot, there's really no time to let down.
Yeah.
So making sure that while the other person's shooting, you're setting up really strong and you're mentally ready for your shot to come
Yep,
is important.
we're going to have Sawyer lead, maybe Grady leading off here this second end.
They must have, it looks like they called Grady's one arrow out because he has a 29 down there on the
29.
board.
9.
And that one looks like it's just low a little bit. Sawyer with a good strong shot there. So Sawyer's going to take a 2-point lead. Another one out to the 9 there. So both Sawyer and Grady are both shooting hinge releases.
Nine
for Sawyer there. See if Grady can get a 10 in here and bring the match back a little closer. There's a 10. So Sawyer's got the pressure on him now mentally to know he's got to shoot a 10 to be able to keep a 1-point lead in this match.
9.
9.
So 58 to 57 right now with Sawyer up. And so Grady will shoot first on the next end, but they're seem to be changing a couple of things. It looks like Sawyer's playing with weights.
Sawyer's taking some weights off there. I don't know if he was playing with his weights during qualifications when it got real windy. He was adding a bunch of weight to his bow to try to slow the movement down a little bit. So maybe with the wind calming down a little bit, he's wanting to have a little bit more freer movement in his bow.
Yeah.
So tell me about this tournament over in Ireland you went to with these two young gentlemen.
Talk about wind. So I think, I'm sure they both were dreading it as much as I was once that wind picked up yesterday. We had some really crazy winds in Ireland. It was cold. It was rainy. Conditions were pretty much miserable. And yet I feel like we all had really, really strong showings. And you couldn't see it on our faces. We were all having the greatest time. And so coming here, at least it's sunny, you know?
Yes.
It's sunny and warm, but that wind, I think there was a little bit of dread in everyone's eyes when they saw that coming. But they're used to it, you know? These are great shooters. They know what to do and how to adapt.
Yeah, I know everyone was talking about yesterday having to come back and like reset their shot process
Yeah.
after shooting in that wind all day. So Grady's going to lead off here in the third end. Down by 1. Nice strong X to start with for him. Clicks that, or weight that Sawyer took off, maybe helped him out a little bit there. Still,
Yeah.
It's 10, but it was a little bit low, so. Nice follow-up for Grady there. Another X for Sawyer, so he's keeping the pressure on Grady.
And you know both of these guys can shoot under that pressure. I mean, Grady going up against Stefan can prove it, you know, right there. That's a huge match, a lot of pressure on you to be able to keep up with someone and then go in and beat them. You know, that's
Yep.
an exciting thing. And Sawyer has shown it time and time again that he knows how to adapt and shoot under that intense pressure.
Yeah, good strong 10 for Sawyer to finish up there. Yeah, so the more and more you shoot in these things, the easier and easier it gets to be under that pressure, under the spotlight, knowing the cameras are on you, knowing everyone's going to see everything. So being able to go in and trust your shot process while the cameras are rolling, while everyone's watching, because you're the only two out here, it's a little different than during qualifications or even the other elimination matches that are going on, because you've got so many other people around you. Then when it's only the two of you out there, if you let any doubt or bad thoughts creep into your head during the shot process, things can go south pretty quick.
Absolutely.
So it looks like Sawyer's going to take a 2-point lead into this fourth end. Coach is getting them some waters and getting their arrows back from the previous end. So Grady will lead off again this fourth end. Sawyer and Jimmy are joking around. He looks pretty comfortable there. Grady's got a smile on his face, talking to his coach.
All right, and so now we are going into the 4th of 5 ends here. Grady leading off.
Good, strong shot for Grady.
Great start to put that pressure on Sawyer.
So you're maybe open the door here a little bit. So we've got 5 arrows left in the match. So Grady just has to be able to keep the pressure on Sawyer, make sure he can keep putting them in the middle. Another good strong shot for Grady.
I mean, one of the hardest things here is keeping yourself under control in these conditions. You know, your heart's pounding, you're shaking, and to be able to know how to control that and just breathe through it, I think, is a very important part of all of this.
Oh, there's a low shot for Grady. So if Grady, or if Sawyer can put another 10 in here, yep, he's going to increase that lead pretty substantially there going into the last end. So we're going to have a 2-point lead going into the last end, as long as that bottom arrow of Grady's is a 9. Got the judge down there with a magnifying glass looking at it, making sure they get the calls correct. Each one of these archers has got an agent down there confirming that the calls that are made are correct. You know, when we're shooting the elimination matches and qualifications, we're actually getting to go down there and see our arrows. And if we don't agree with a call, we can always call in a line judge or something like this. So in these medal matches, you have someone go down there with you or for you as your agent to make sure the calls that are being made are correct, and trying to make sure that you're making sure things are going in your favor.
Usually you kind of want someone that you trust to know, like, hey, that's if an arrow keeps seeming to go one way or the other, and to know, like, hey, maybe I should pull this arrow, checking for knocks, checking for point, any damage, you know, because a broken knock could be the end right there.
Yeah, broken knock or a fletching starting to come loose that you don't see. I mean, when you're in this part of the tournament where you got 20 seconds to shoot, you don't have any time to really look over your equipment besides when they bring your arrows back to you.
You gotta just trust. Yeah, you gotta really know that that person down there is keeping an eye on your equipment for you.
All right, going to the 5th and final end here. Looked like Grady did get a 9 on that bottom arrow, so it's only a 2-point lead instead of a 3. So if Grady can throw 3 10s down here and keep the pressure on Sawyer, this match could come down to the last couple arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 off the left there. Good X for Sawyer there.
Nearly dead center right there. Can't get much closer.
10.
Good 10 for Grady. That's all you can do when you're at this point, when you're down by 3. You just, all you got to do is keep focusing on the 10, put the pressure on your opponent, and
10.
Woo, with that
He did.
follow through.
Sawyer did not like that shot, but it went in the highest value ring possible on that target.
I'm jealous. I wish I could sometimes have those follow throughs and get them up there.
Good finish for Grady there. So Sawyer's got to keep this one an 8 ring or better to come away with a win. And a 10
And
to
that's a 10
finish.
right there.
Good finish for those guys. I know they're good friends. They're young enough. They're gonna be seeing each other quite a bit these next few years when
That's
they're
right, yeah.
coming up through the ranks. So, great match. Said it was close the whole way,
Yep.
back and forth. Sawyer never really relinquished a lead, but Grady hung around there the whole time, really put the pressure on him. And then that second to last in, when he had that one go really low,
Yep.
that kind of turned the tide towards Sawyer a little bit, and he finished out strong, shot some 3 good 10s, and put him up at a 147 to 144 for the win.
On target 2, Sawyer Sullivan.
All right, we're going to head over and talk to Sawyer on his first place interview here.
Congratulations, Sawyer Sullivan. That prepares you nicely for the World Championship coming up.
It does. I'm super excited. And my flight is in 2 hours.
Talk us through it, because Grady, I mean, for a young man who's, I believe, featuring in his first senior event, to make it to the gold medal match, and the start was electric from you.
Grady shot good all day. I've been rooting for him. He's a great guy. We were on the same team going to Ireland a couple weeks ago, so I was super excited that he jumped up to senior this year, or this for the rest of this season, and he shot awesome. Congrats to him.
So, the last few arrows there, talk us through it, because the machine got a little excited, didn't it?
I was a little nervous, and my pin was moving up and down, and so I had one break really low, so I had to give it a little bojitsu up into the middle, and it got, I don't know how.
And the smiles, the reaction from you, your body language, I mean, it was all very, very positive. And talk, for those that don't always follow archery, who was in your corner?
So that was Jimmy Lutz, or James Lutz, and he is, multi-time world champion. He's a super good guy. So one of my best friends, and so it was awesome to have him, smiling back at me and having a good time. And it was also nice to be shooting against a good friend of mine, Grady. So it just made everything easier.
And looking ahead to the next week or so, World Championships, clearly you're going in some form.
Yeah, I've been practicing really hard since Ireland. We had crazy wins in Ireland, so that prepared me well for a couple days ago's qualification round, and so then I've just been shooting my bow, trying to get better.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Around here, find your peak isn't a catchphrase. It's the focus that fuels the adventure. No shortcuts, no off-season. Nothing holding you back. Vortex Nation is both a mindset and a lifestyle. A community of individuals called to breathe the rarefied air of those who understand that your limits are the only limits of the hunting, shooting, and outdoors experience.
He's downright. The craziest things ever happened. The stories are never going to end, but that is the best part of the story.
All right, we are back here at Dairy Fields, and we're going to bring in the women barebow. We're going to have Maggie Brunsinger, who is a 5th seed, beat the newcomer Francisca Benavides 6-2 in the semifinals. Benavides set a new U18 and U21 world record pending verification at the Joad Nationals early this month, and that record was set by Brunsinger last September. Brunsinger won her 1/8 round and quarterfinal matches 6-0 before beating Benavides. Maggie won
On target 1.
Gator Cup in May
Maggie
and is from Pennsylvania.
Renzinger.
Yeah, and Diane Kilgren, who was ranked 2nd coming into this.
On target
She got the
2,
better of Eric
Diane
Lozona Cup
Cochran.
winner, Joanna Zacco, in the semis, 7-3.
Maggie will shoot first.
And she won her previous 2 matches
Your
leading up to
judge,
that, 6-0.
Cooley.
She's from Washington.
All right, so this is barebow. So Unlike what we just saw with the compounds, these women have no sights, no releases, no stabilizers, no anything. So this is all just based on feel. And we are still at 50 meters, but we're going to be shooting at 122 centimeter face instead of the 80 centimeter face. So the 10 ring on this is 12.2 centimeters across. A good strong 9 to start off with.
Like you were saying earlier, this is much more difficult. I mean, you don't have any sights. You really don't have anything to help you aim other than, you know, maybe some markings on your tab to know to make sure you're consistent. But this is a very difficult discipline to be accurate and consistent with, because every little movement, you can see every little movement affects where that arrow goes.
Yep. And unlike Olympic recurve, there's no clickers to make sure you drop back to the same spot every time. So if you pull it back a little bit more one time, a little bit less one time, that'll change your impact point as well. So this is an extremely difficult discipline. And at 50 meters, which is 55 yards, which is over half of a football field, it's pretty amazing that these ladies and gentlemen can do this and keep themselves fairly consistent.
I think we're almost getting a few raindrops here coming in.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit on the canopy here. Hopefully it doesn't start raining. All right, so Maggie started off really strong with 998 with a 26 total, and Diane had 688 with a 22 total. So Maggie's going to get 2 set points. So the set system for recurves and barebow, if you win the end, you get 2 points. If you tie the end, you get 1 point, and it's basically a race to 6.
Yep.
So if you get to the point where you're tied 5-5 at the end, then it ends up coming to a one arrow shoot off. So the scoring is going to be a little different. You'll see the end scores. Yes, she won by 4 points, but she's going to get 2 set points for the end. And it's the first person to get 6 points. So tabulating the scores here, making sure everything gets recorded correctly.
And so how we kind of talked about the nerves earlier and how well you can handle them and that shakiness. I mean, you see everything here. I mean, you don't have that weight that Sawyer, is taking on and off when you're like, okay, I feel a little shaky here. I feel a little nervous, so I'm going to add weight, take off weight. They have just a little bit amount of weight that they can put on the front, and that is it. They can't really change and play with that too much. They don't have those long stabilizers to help if the wind picks up. So it's pretty insane. It's a lot of respect to be able to do that.
And no sight.
No sight. That is the crazy part.
Now, have you ever tried barebow?
Not barebow. I have tried to shoot recurve. Let's just say I'm not a recurve for a reason. I will not be trying out for the Olympics in Paris.
All right, we're going to go into N2 here with Maggie leading 2-0. Yeah, I've tried barebow a couple times, and I will stick with compound.
The whole not being able to consistently hit 10 thing, it bothers kind of my perfectionist.
Yes. Oh, my.
That was
on
beautiful.
the scribe. What an amazing shot there. Yeah, there's a little bit of spit of rain coming in here right now, too. And a 10 to answer. Wow. So the other thing that's interesting here is we have 2 lefties.
I was just noticing that, yeah.
6.
And a 6.
So barebow just got kind of added to these USAT events just last year. Before they were able to do nationals and field nationals and indoor nationals, but there was no necessarily USAT division for them. So this is kind of only the second year of them being able to get any type of experience doing this.
Yeah, and barebow has come on very, very strong the last few years too. I know if you look at like Lancaster Classic, Vegas, and stuff like that, the barebow divisions are growing. Oh, what an end there for Maggie. 10-10-9.
She'll take another 2 set points, so she's up 4-0 against Diane. And so if she wins one more, she has the match. She will get the gold. Obviously, like this is a match that Diane can come back, win by 1 point each end, and tie it right back up.
Yep.
So that's really cool about barebow and recurve here is there's no such thing as too many points lost. You know.
Yep. So you're always in it with set points. So as long as you can keep winning matches or winning your ends, you've got a chance to come back and win. So Diane, she was down 4 points the first end and another 4 points this end. So she'd be down 8 points if we were doing cumulative. But since it's a set system, those points go away each and every end and kind of resets for that given end. So she could come away and still have a chance to win this.
And I mean, she started with that amazing X. So I know that pressure's up there, but she knows what she's doing up there, you know?
I'm saying Diane's done quite a few of these. I mean, she got the better of Joanne Zako in the semis, 7-3, who was the Arizona Cup winner. So anybody has a chance to win these things.
And the rain has started to officially come down here in Ohio.
Hopefully it doesn't stick around too long. It doesn't look like it, but
7.
good 7 to start there. Maggie's kind of got an interesting way she draws her bow to begin and get her hand and everything set too. I don't know if you noticed that or not. She starts kind of aiming down and then comes back up. Maggie matches with a 7. Good strong 9 there. And matches.
They are all tied up so far this end.
So if this end ends up in a tie, each lady here will get 1 set point.
7.
An 8. So she's going to get her by 1 point, but she'll get 2 set points and take the match.
And take the match just like that.
That's a pretty dominant victory there in the gold medal match. Considering she just started shooting this, I mean, she's come out of nowhere.
She really has, and it's pretty spectacular to see these girls come up here and shoot. I mean, be able to hit a target without a sight or anything. I know they practice, but I don't know as though I could do that.
I know I couldn't hit at 50 meters. I couldn't hit any part of that face with no sight or anything on it. So
yeah,
amazing to watch these ladies shoot. No sights, no nothing, being able to hit the target, and they've actually are doing a really good job of putting them in the middle. I mean, we had that one scribe shot right in the very middle on that second to last in there, and yeah, they did a great job. Diane and Maggie there getting a good hug in.
Barebow Woman Champion.
There's the announcement right there.
Maggie Brenzinger.
Yeah, so Maggie didn't really even leave a little bit of a door crack open for Diane the whole match. She had a pretty dominant lead the whole time, and she's going to be over here. We're going to go to Richard for the first place interview here.
Well, Maggie, congratulations. That was pretty convincing. How you think? How you feeling?
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty nervous. I was a lot more nervous before, but once I got up here, it kind of settled down a bit. So I'm feeling pretty good.
You came through a semi-final against Francesca, who I understand took your world record, which of course she did at Joad a couple of weeks ago. Were you aware of that, and did that give you a little bit of added kind of motivation to get through?
So I knew that she did take the record at Joad, and I was looking at the scores and I was like, wow, that's impressive. I want to meet her. And I actually did get to talk to her a little bit face to face and finally put a face to a name, and she's very sweet and she's a great shot. So
well, what does that do for the barebow discipline? What does that do for the women's category? Because you've got a little bit of competition. Did that, again, competition is great and obviously helped to motivate you this week?
Yes, I was actually working very hard the last couple of weeks because I really wanted to put up a good solid fight here after some kind of local tournaments. But it did add some motivation. I won't lie.
And so when you knew you were facing her in the semi-final, I mean, was that a mental hurdle you had to overcome because clearly technically you had the ability?
Yeah, yes it was. It was a little nerve-wracking, definitely. I get like progressively more nervous the further eliminations goes on, just because of the environment and the pressure and everything. I guess that's just how I operate.
But you're up against Diane today, who's experienced and 6-0. So you didn't seem to show the nerves. What was going on inside then?
I'm very good at hiding it, I guess. I was nervous. I'm not lying about that. I was a little nervous. I was kind of restless. I was like, can I just go get my arrows or something? Like, I kind of felt weird just standing there, but it was a pleasure really to shoot against her, or with her rather.
Well, you didn't show the nerves, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, so now we're going to go into the men's bare bow. We're going to start off with Richard Stonebreaker, who was the #1 seed, scored 588 in qualifying, won through his elimination matches 7-1, 6-2, and 6-2. So he did a really good job through eliminations, didn't really have anything close.
And you also have Jordan Graham. He was ranked 3rd, so both of these were very high seeds coming into this. He scored a 586.
Shooting first, Richard Stonebreaker. On target 2, Jordan Graham.
And so Jordan Graham is a local here. He's here from Ohio, who didn't have to travel too far for this tournament. And Richard Stonebreaker is from Texas. It appears Richard's going to be shooting first. Rick's been around a long time. I like seeing him at all these USAT tournaments and stuff, and always enjoy talking with him. He's always good for a laugh.
I mean, that's one thing you can always say. Bare bows, they are always having a good time. None of them seem to take themselves, or like they take the sport seriously, but they don't take every little arrow as personally, I don't think, as we sometimes do.
Yes. So Rick started off with a 6-7 liner. And we've got a 7. So it's either tied up or Jordan's got him by 1. The sun is starting to come back out. It appears we've dodged the rain. Good strong 9 for Rick. And answers with another 9, so he carries a 1-point lead in the last arrow. And a 7.
8.
Another 8. So he's going to take that set by 2. So if you watch Rick when he addresses his bow before he pulls back, you see him using his thumb on a string. He's counting down how many threads are serving, or if he's got a mark on his tab to where he needs to put his hand. So then whenever he pulls back, he can line the point up with where he wants to hit it. And then he has to pull it back the same every single time to hit the same place.
And so, yeah, they'll usually mark their tabs or something, so that way they can change distances. They'll string walk it down or up. That way they kind of have, it's kind of their own way and a little sight thing, you know. That way they know where they need to anchor for that distance.
Yep. And then again, you still have to pull it back exactly the
Yeah.
same every single time, because unlike a compound, there's no draw stops, and unlike Olympic recurve, there's no clicker to let you know when you've hit your full draw position. So this sport's extremely difficult.
There's not a whole lot of forgiveness with bare bow.
No. See Jason down there pulling arrows. Jason's also another really, really good bare bow shooter here local for Ace Archers. Got a fly buzzing around my microphone.
But I think I heard that we had record-breaking numbers here this year at Buckeye.
It was 740 7, I think it was.
So
it's a
it was
huge tournament. It's
yeah.
great to see that many numbers coming out. And I know the barebow crowds have come out in numbers since
Yes.
they've been added to the USATs. So it's good to see the barebow community supporting, getting an organization to include that discipline into more tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, heading into end number 2, Jordan is carrying a 2-point lead. Like I said before, this is set points, so the lead he had at the beginning of the last end does not carry over to this end. This end is a standalone scoring end. 8 for Richard.
10.
Nice 10 for Jordan. See, both these guys have a little bit different style when they shoot too. Richard seems to aim a little bit longer, and Jordan is a little quicker shot. Good strong 9. Jordan with the 7. So that means the end is tied up right now. So it's going to come down to this last arrow to see who wins the end or we tie. So Jordan has to hit a 7 or better to win the end. And he does, hits a 9.
Follows it up with a 9. He'll take another 2 points and be up 4-0 against Rick Stonebreaker.
You can tell Rick kind of knew the pressure was on there, trying to put in a good arrow. It seemed like he aimed that one a little bit longer because he knew if he could take another point on him here, he get 2 set points and tie the whole match back up. So now it's 4-0, so he knows he has to either win or tie the next match. And if it ties the next match, then he has to win the next end to stay
That's
alive.
one difficult part about this set point thing is you could shoot your best end and someone could match it or do better, and it doesn't add up from the last end. You know, it's completely new, and they could win by 1 point and take both set points and take it all, you know?
Yep. So got these guys getting their arrows back, get them in their quiver. Looks like we're good down range. Going to get the third end here. Jordan with a 4-0 lead. And Rick will shoot first here. There he is, counting his.
And these guys have the exact same amount of time, that 20 seconds that the compounds do. They don't seem to take quite as long as us compounds, setting up and preparing and shooting, but you know, that 20-second limit is still there, and that pressure is there to make it count.
Jordan matching the 9 there. Great shot. So as soon as Jordan's arrow's gone, Rick's time starts, so he's going to draw back here with under 10 seconds to go. So a little bit of pressure, but with the nice 9. With these bare bows, there's not a let-off like there is. Wow.
10.
Great shot for Jordan there. There's not let-off like there is on compound, so you're holding the full weight of whatever you're drawing back, so you can't really hold it back that long. So that's why these guys, their shot seems to be a little bit quicker.
8.
Good in for Richard.
5.
So that's going to go, that end's going to go to Rick. 26 to 24 on that one. So you see how quick that it can change in barebow. It's like where compounds like you expect to hit a 10 every single time. This, like when you hit a 10 and a 9, it's like, all right, if we did a good job, but like one little thing, you can be all of a sudden out in a 6 or a 5 and lose your set.
Absolutely, and with this sun and wind and rain kind of being changing the way it is, that, you know, that affects the way you shoot, that affects the way you aim and how you see. So, you know, I think they've actually shot kind of through it all right now. They had the wind there for a second. They have the sun.
Sun's out right now, so that'll change shadows coming off your string and how you're going to aim off the point of your arrow, whatever reference point you're using to aim. That little bit of light can change, and you can see that like even in the qualifications for compounds. Like as the sun changes positions in it, your peep sight can look a little bit different. So these guys struggle with the same things we do, just not on the same aspect of it.
But they are putting up some great arrows and fighting through it all.
Yep, so 2-4. Jordan is still leading by 2. Rick's going to lead off here since he's down. Nice strong 9 there.
9.
And matches it with another 9 for Jordan. Rick's done this long enough. He knows he's never out of it. If he can keep throwing arrows down at range like that, he's got a chance at it. So.
Absolutely.
Oh, and then Jordan answers with a 10. What a great arrow there. And Rick knows he's got to put a good one down there and put some pressure on Jordan to get this set. Nice. Oh, what an end for Jordan to win that. What an amazing end there. X99 to finish off.
Yeah, those
with Barebow. That was amazing.
Some awesome scores. I mean, everything in the yellow there. They both gave it everything they got in that last end.
Yep, they gave each other a hug. And
looks like some tears might be coming from Jordan.
Jordan looks pretty happy there. So, I mean, that match, I mean, yes, he won 6-2, but that last end, it's like he knew he had Rick threw down 9-9-9. He knew he had to shoot an 8 or better to tie the match, at least to keep him behind him. Otherwise, it was going to be a whole tie score there.
Yeah.
It was going to be 4-4 going into the last end. So, he put, I mean, X99 to finish out, just to close it out was an awesome end. And these guys are pretty amazing what they can do.
Yes, it looks like some encouraging words came from Rick there.
Yeah, wouldn't have made that was probably one of the best matches we've seen all day so far. So
yeah, that was a nail biter.
So looks like we're going to take it over and let Jordan do his first place interview there, and go ahead and take it over.
Jordan, you look to the heavens on winning that one, and you are clearly emotional. I mean, this clearly means a huge amount to you.
You know, man, this is what we all work for, and sorry I'm emotional, man. I can't. It's my hometown. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Ace, my home club, man, the club that puts this place on. This place is awesome. My God, let me tell you something. He doesn't always let me win tournaments, but he's always there, and he's got me doing this for a reason. And of course, I look to the heavens because I get my strength from Jesus Christ, and that's where it comes from. This is what we work for, man. And a lot of the barebow community knows that I started shooting this past winter, and I've grown. I've worked with them, Dwayne Martin, Calvin Smock, the Holsons, Mike, Karen, looked up to a lot of these guys. You know, the past several years, I've looked up to Rick. I've looked up to Paul Donahue that I took down in eliminations, man, and it's like, here I am. I just got lucky today, man. Today's my day.
Well, you say luck. There was some fantastic from both of them. I mean, Rick was walking off at the end. I heard him say to his coach, "I have one good end," but clearly he's an incredible archer, and you're the better man on the day.
I appreciate it, man. I told Rick, I said, man, I've looked up to you for years. He said, of course you do. I'm taller. This is a great community, man. Barebow Nation. God is good. I'm so proud to get my first win. I've worked so hard for this, and I got my whole family back here, my kids, my beautiful wife, my best friends. Thank you.
And was there a moment? Did you start nervous? Did you build momentum? When did that belief begin to kick in?
I started okay. Honestly, shooting that 5 was probably the best thing I did, because that's when you just got to dig deep and you got to tell yourself, you know what, I got this. You fall back to form and process, and if you stick to form and process, it becomes really, really hard to fail, man, and that's what I've been working so hard to do. I've gotten better and better each event, and I'm so, so honored to be the gold medalist. I can't even tell you, man, and I mean that with all my heart, because anybody can win in this class any given day, just like any of them, and this is just an amazing feeling.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And again, Ace Archers, my home club, the hard work they put into this place, I can't thank them enough. I'm so proud of what our club does for this event, and it's an honor to win it here in my hometown with my club hosting.
The definition of perfection is the process of improving something until it is flawless. In archery, perfection is achieved when an arrow slices through the air and hits the target in precisely the right spot. At Lancaster Archery Supply, our mission is to help archers everywhere as they improve their execution and strive for perfection. We've got the gear, we've got the knowledge, we've got the passion. We lead the world in 3D and target archery.
And now the recurve women division.
All right, we're back here at Dairy Fields. We're going to get into the Olympic recurve. So we've pushed the targets back to 70 meters from where we were for the compound and bare bow. We're still going to be at 122 centimeter face, but again, it's at 70 meters, which is 77-ish yards. Coming up the first match, gold medal women's, we're going to have Isabella Frederick, who is the 4th seed coming in, defeated Cham Chung, bronze medalist at the SoCal Showdown. She started in the later round than McDonough. Other scores of 6-0, 6-5 over Aaron Mickelberry, 6-4 on her way to semifinal with Chung. And she is from Washington.
Frederick. On target 2, Megan McDonough. And your judge, Lauren Harding.
All right, and she's going up against Megan McDonough. She was ranked 10th coming into this. She's from Illinois, so not too far away, actually. She probably has very similar weather that we do here. She took out Molly Nugent in the semifinals, 7-3. And she also did some 6-0ing there at the beginning, 7-3, 6-1, 6-4. Like, she fought for this to get here. That's a lot of matches to go through.
Yes, it is. So we're going to start off here. Who do we have shooting first? Again, like another recurve all lefty final.
Yeah, yeah. You don't see that very often.
No.
It looks like Isabella will be shooting first. On target
only
1.
Got 8 seconds left to get this arrow off.
8.
8 left there.
10.
Nice strong 10 for Megan there to start off with.
And Megan does not look like she has a coach behind her in that box. So she's just kind of going off whatever the announcer will tell her. I don't know so she can see exactly where her arrow is going.
It says left or right 7 there. Yeah, at 70 meters, I don't know if I could see where those arrows were without having a coach tell me where they landed. So good strong 9 for Isabella there. Or sorry, 9 for Isabella. And looks like another 7-6 liner.
7-6 line, possibly 6.
So like the bare bows, this is their recurve bows, but differently. These guys have stabilizers, sights. They have a clicker on it that tells them when they reach their full draw position. So every single time they let go of the string, it's got the same amount of power behind it. So these somewhat similar to a bare bow, but in the fact that the bow is a recurve, but they've got a lot of extra stuff on there.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier to shoot. I mean, having some type of aiming thing that you can move and have precise movements with, that makes a huge difference rather than maybe using the point of the arrow, maybe being instinctive. They still have that same issue with that back half, with their tab and everything. That's not consistent. That can really fling an arrow.
Yeah, if their release isn't right. I mean, you saw a couple arrows go off to the right there for Megan. So maybe there's something going on with her release or something, and if it got wet, like I said, it rained a little bit, that can cause issues as well. But yeah, these guys with the sights and clickers and stuff, that's why we push them back another 20 meters on the same size face that we shoot the bare bows on.
And these guys have a lot more power behind them than we do for our compounds, because they don't have a let off at all. So they are holding the full weight of that bow when they are pulling back.
Yep. And we are coming into an Olympic year, so I know there's going to be a ton of people getting ready for Olympic trials. And
yeah, that starts in about a month now at Outdoor Target Nationals. That it begins the first stage of Olympic trials, and that will go and continue on until next year for the next 2 USAT events, all the way up until Paris.
Yeah, so there's a lot of recurvers that have dreams and aspirations of being in Olympics. This is kind of where it starts here coming up in the next month or so.
This is almost like a preparation, like where am I at, one last one before that big national event, to get a feel for it and test out any last minute changes that you've made because it's here, you know.
Yep. So Isabella took that first set, so she's got 2 set points. Right now, Megan's got a 1 point. No, we're tied up 17-17 now after that second arrow there. So keeping this close. Nice, another 9 there. So a little bit. Isabella's got to shoot a 9 for a tie or a 10 for the set win. And she shoots a 10 for the set win. Wow, what an arrow.
And the wind has started to pick up a bit here again. It kind of calmed down there for a match or two, but it's starting to pick up, and they're handling it in stride.
Yep, you saw Megan kind of throw those couple of those shots there, that first end off to the right, so I don't know if that was part of it. There's a lot more hang time with these arrows coming off the bows since they're not going quite as fast.
But it looks like she made a quick adjustment and adapted and did what she needed to do to put them back in the center.
Yep. So Isabella's going to take that set 27-26, so she's going to carry a 4-point lead into the third end. So yeah, the sun has really started beating down here now. It's gotten warm sitting here on the microphone in the sun. You see Isabella's got over there with an umbrella trying to keep the sun off keep everything from getting overheated, because you can get hot here real quick when you're out shooting these matches.
And you and I, we're from Ohio, so we know how quickly this weather can switch. So you never know what's going to happen on any given day.
Another dark cloud in the distance, so it may get pretty dark and rainy here for too long. So we're going to have Megan leading off here.
On target 2.
Nice strong 10 there. Good way to start off the end. Put a little bit of pressure on Isabella. And she answers. Almost hit the exact same spot. 9.
Looks like Megan has really dialed it in for this end.
Yes.
Those were right next to each other.
8. 9.
Another 9.
Great finish.
So I got Megan's first arrow listed as a 9, so maybe they can see something we can't see, but it looks pretty dang close to a 10 to me.
9.
And another 9. So they're going to get judges go down and look at that first arrow for Megan and see if it actually is a 9. If it is a 10, she's going to take the set. They've got it listed now as a tie. So get the judge down there with a magnifying glass out, make sure it actually is what it's being called. It could be 5-1, it could be 4-2 once they get done judging this. So going to take a closer look. Getting his hat out, getting the magnifying glass out.
Yep, and judges they don't just look at it from one angle. They usually look at it from 3 angles, and it only has to be in on one angle. If they can find that it is in on one angle, then it is considered in.
Yep, and all you have to do is touch the line. You don't have to break it. You don't have to be inside of it. All it has to do is touch the line for you to get the higher value.
Sometimes it can be very difficult to call with that black line and your arrow being black. You know, it can.
So I'm hearing them say Megan's first arrow was a 10, so she's actually going to take that set. So she's going to come back and gain 2 points there, so it's going to be 4-2 now. So she did win that set by 1 point. That ended by 1 point to get 2 set points. So she's going to come back here.
Let's see if she can keep up that pressure onto Isabella and take back another 2 points.
Yeah,
tie
both of them are shooting really good that end. All of them kept them in the gold. Both of them had a 10. I guess Isabella did have 1-8 there. But they were all right around the gold there. Nice quick shot. Tall 8 there. Megan doesn't seem like she aims awful long. She gets into that clicker pretty quick.
9.
You know, and with recurve, you don't have a whole lot of energy to waste, you know, holding too long in this. So if you're able to put your sight in the center and make a quick shot, that is going to go where you want it.
Yep, especially when you got little tricky wind conditions that can blow your bow around if you try to aim too much.
7.
Yeah, I had some people telling me yesterday that they were aiming all the way on the 2 ring to be able to hit center, or at least hope to hit center, you know,
Wow,
with that wind.
What a shot from Megan. 2 in a row, 10-10 there. So she's going to come back and win this end, and it's going to be a 4-4 match going into the 5th end.
We might get our first
shoot off.
First shoot off. I love a good shoot off.
Yeah, getting the one arrow close to the center puts a lot of pressure on you. It's a little different than yours trying to hit the goal or hit the 10 or whatever. It's you get down to those one arrows, it's like, all right, this one has to be as perfectly dead center as it can be because it needs to be a millimeter different than the other person, but as long as it's close to the center, you win.
Megan is at a, I don't want to say disadvantage, but, you know, you have Isabella being able to talk to her coach back there and who might be able to point out, hey, I've seen this, I'm watching this, even point out the wind might be switching. And without a coach back there, you don't have someone who can, you know, keep an eye on this stuff. But she is doing amazing without one and making the adjustments as needed and just going with whatever happens. And she is killing it. I mean, that's a great comeback right there.
She made a couple adjustments after those first 2 ends, and her groups have been really awesome here. So we're coming down to the 5th end. And I think Isabella's shooting first.
It looks like it, yep. On target 1, Isabella.
Yep. So Isabella's shooting first. She was leading 4-0, and Megan's come back and made this a 4-4 match.
Five.
That one's a bit low for Isabella.
Yep, she hasn't had many low. So let's see if Megan can capitalize here.
8.
Put another one at 8.
Wind picking up again.
9.
And that's a better shot for her.
I think that was a little bit quicker, too.
Yep.
9.
Good shot there. So she's going to need a 9 or 10 here to put some pressure on Megan for her final arrow.
9.
And she does. She gives it a 9. So she needs a 7 or better. Oh.
5-6.
So if she gets a 6, it'll be tied, and we'll have a 5-5 match. If not, Isabella's going to take the match. It appears they're calling it a 5, not a 6. But again, we'll get down and get the judge to look at it, confirm that it's actually a 5, not a 6. I'd love to have a one arrow shoot off here for this. That'd be a great way to end this match. Now it looks like Isabella's getting a thumbs up from her agent, so it looks like she's going to be good. Yep, so it looks like Isabella's going to take that end by 1, and she's going to win 6-4. What an awesome match.
That was a great match, yeah.
Megan did awesome coming back. She was shooting really great groups there. That 3rd and 4th end, really putting pressure on Isabella, and Isabella came away with a win.
Isabella Frederick.
Get a good handshake there between the two of them. Both of them are smiling, happy. That was an awesome match, and it came down to the very last arrow.
Yes, it did.
And millimeters. If it would have been 1 or 2 millimeters the other way, we could have had a 1 arrow shoot off there. So great match for those two. Looks like we're going to take it over there and get a quick interview. We're going to send it over and get an interview right now.
Okay, that was a competitive gold medal match. A few nervy moments, but you came through in the end. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good now.
You got off to a fantastic start, winning obviously the first 2 sets, and then Megan came racing back. What was going through your mind as she edged back into that contest?
I think I was feeling a little nervous, and I just kind of let my shot get a little weak.
The conditions for the gold medal match, how has it differed over the last few days? Have you adjusted? We spoke to Paige after the compound final, and she made some quite hefty adjustments. Have you had to adjust as the tournament's gone on?
Well, compared to the first day of qualifications, where the winds were very, very strong, today felt very easy, so not as much as you would expect, I don't think.
And just talk us through it, because it's different when you're going through qualification and even the early rounds of elimination. You're side by side, you're used to that. When you step out onto this field and there's cameras, there's a microphone, there's the field is set up. Is it a little daunting? Did that take some adjustment?
It is a little daunting, but also I feel like you don't notice it as much because you're just so focused on shooting.
And where does this rank in terms of performances, in terms of the year that you've had?
Pretty good.
And what next? What next for you?
Nationals. We'll see how it goes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, we see champions everywhere we look. In every sport, on every court, we're building a foundation to ensure all athletes are safe, supported, and strengthened. At the U.S. Center for Safe Sport, ending abuse is not just our job. It's our promise.
All right, we're back here at Dairy Fields, and we're going to come to our last match of the day, the men's recurve.
Men division.
We're going to have first the #1 qualifier, Trenton Cowles. He's from Texas A&M. Won his matches 6-0, 6-2, 6-0, 6-4 to reach the gold medal final. He's from California, and he won the 2022 Indoor Nationals, beating Brady Ellison, and he is 21 years old.
Yeah, he'll be going up against Justin Hewish, who was #2. So these are the top 2 qualifiers here for the weekend, and he has Justin Hewish has an individual and team gold from the 1996 Olympic Games.
First on target 1, Trenton Cowles. On target 2, Justin Hewish.
And Justin is 48 from California. Looks like Justin had a
Your judge for the match, McKenna Cody.
Had a bit of more of a battle getting through eliminations than Trenton did. Looks like he was 6'2", 6'4", 6'4", 6'2". So he's been competing all day.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're going to get this going.
And they're both from California, so coming across pretty much the entire.
What if they traveled here together?
And like we said, Trenton is 21 and Justin Hewish is 48. So that, I mean, it's pretty amazing having that wide range of ages that you can be and still be here in the gold medal match competing against each other, and how long you can stay in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, archery is something you can do forever. We had guys here that were 80 years old shooting this year. Wow, what an awesome shot to start with. Almost dead center X for Trenton. So yeah, we had 80 years old, 76 years old. I know I heard one, Rick in the gold medal final at 70 years old. This is a sport you can do when you're young and continue it for your entire life.
And both of these guys I know will be going for the Olympic trials as well in just a few weeks.
Yep.
And so, again, this is like a great practice to be under that pressure to test anything that you have changed from the last tournament to know that you are ready for those trials.
Yep. And Justin's been through that grind before the trials, making the 96 team, winning gold medals there.
Yep.
I mean, he knows what it takes to win. And obviously, don't want to say 48's old, but he's been doing this a long time and still able to be able to compete at this level. Just really goes to show you can keep doing this as long as you want to do it. So Trenton's going to take this in.
9.
So with him having 29 points and Justin already dropping 3, there's no way Justin could have won that one. So that's an in, like, okay, if I want to try something, I can throw an arrow down range and it's not going to matter whether it hits exactly where I want it to, or if I want to try something different either with my grip or the way I'm holding the string. He's going to lose that end anyway, so it gives him an opportunity to throw an arrow down range, maybe try something to see if, okay, things aren't hitting exactly where I want them. What am I doing differently? Is it finger pressure? Is it face pressure? Am I looking at the string through my sight differently? So knowing that going into your last arrow, the first end, maybe give you a little bit of advantage going into end number 2.
Yep.
But Trenton's going to come away from this first end with 2 set points. And again, this is a race to 6. 2 set points for winning the end, 1 set point apiece if you tie, and obviously nothing if you don't win the end.
Yep. Looks like they both have a very similar setup with Hoyts and XL sights on there.
Yeah, it looks like Justin's got the new Excel with a really short sight bar on it. I know there's some adjustments up on the bow that you can make it. They were trying to lighten up the overall sight to keep the big part that moves closer to the bow. So that's the first one of those I've actually seen in person.
But yeah, what an opening end for Trenton for a 29 to come up here, and with that pressure, it's really difficult to keep even
very
those
first
scores.
arrow,
Yeah,
dead center in the X.
that boosts your confidence going into the rest of it.
Yep. So Justin's going to lead off here this second end. The wind is almost completely died. There's hardly any movement. The windstocks are almost completely straight down.
That's
Clouds,
Ohio for you.
Clouds come back over, and it's actually kind of cooled off a little bit here the last 5 minutes. So Justin leading off here this second end. Good, strong 10. Really long hold on that one.
Yep.
Seemed like, I don't know if he was struggling getting through the clicker or if he was just aiming a little extra long since it's so calm right now.
And 9 line.
And that looks like a 9.
9.
Kind of like I was saying before, with just a little bit longer hold, after kind of blowing around in the wind, sometimes you get a little bit scared to be able to just aim on and be able to see,
whatever Justin's doing now, it's working.
It's right there, though, yeah.
But yeah,
absolutely.
When it's calm and your bow's holding so still, it's like you don't want to do anything to make it move.
9.
So I know these guys were shooting over in the practice range when the wind was blowing. Now that's dead, I wonder if something's changed in Trenton, because he's hitting everything off to the right now, and Justin's kind of dialed into the middle. Look at that. So Justin's going to take this second end, so he'll have 2 set points.
They're going to tie then with 2-2
Yep.
going into the third end.
Like I said before, knowing that you're not going to win this in, and Justin's had 2 arrows that have been off to the right, that's going to give him an opportunity to maybe try something different with a string alignment or something. So you can see he's in the middle a little bit low, but maybe he changed something a little bit with the cloud cover coming over. Maybe he changed a little bit of his string alignment or something to see if he could get himself back in the middle.
And those are still really good, really close shots.
Yep.
They're just out. That can be so frustrating knowing that they felt great and they're just out.
Yep. So, but yep, Justin's going to tie this match up. Great in for him with a 30. And Trenton was right there. I mean, a couple inches out on each one of those arrows. I mean, he could have been a 30 right with him. So we'll be tied up going to the third end. And
this will be a fun match.
Yes.
I can already tell. It's going to be a really exciting match.
Archers are getting their arrows back from the first end. Guys are getting the arrows pulled out of the targets, and we're going to get going here for end number 3. And seeing that picture, that dark clouds coming over, and it's just kind of sitting here hovering, like nothing's really moving right now.
Maybe we could hold off another 15 minutes for us.
All right, here we go with the third end, tied up 2-2. And Trenton's going to lead this one off. Again, once the buzzer goes off, each one of these archers has 20 seconds to get their arrow off. And as soon as their arrow leaves, the next archer's 20 seconds begins. Another dead center.
That's a great way to follow up that last end.
Nice answer there. 2 X's to start off the match. Start off this end.
Like we were kind of saying before, like this is still a very precise sport, even though they have the sights, the stabilizers, still being able to be that accurate with a recurve can be very
Yes.
difficult. You have to have a lot in order and perfect to be able to be this accurate. And they're at 70 meters, which is 20 meters further than us as compounds shoot.
Yep, Trenton followed that X up with another 10. And Justin with another X. Great shooting from these two. So if Trenton can hit a 10 here, he knows for sure he's at least going to get one set point out of this. Nice.
There it is.
So he's guaranteed at least one set point.
This is a lot of pressure, though, going on to Justin now.
Come down to Justin here and what he's going to do in this last arrow for this end. Nice.
There it is.
Awesome end for both those two guys. 30s on both of them. Each one's going to get one set point, so we're still going to be tied, but it's going to be 3-3. So we're guaranteed at least two more ends of this.
Yeah.
What great groups from those guys. Yeah, it's pretty amazing watching, like, knowing what we do with the compounds and how, like, our level of what we want to see is of accuracy, and then what these guys can do with not having draw stops, not having magnification in the lenses, and being able to shoot at 70 meters is pretty amazing. Like, being able to put groups down range like that is pretty awesome.
It is.
So confirming the scores here, it looks like for sure both have 30. Tied 3-3. Going into the fourth end. And I hope these guys shoot nothing but 10s the rest of the way out, because that'd be an awesome way to end the day.
That would be. So the wind has pretty much died. It looks like we actually might dodge these really dark clouds passing by, hopefully, as they're going into their fourth end here.
So Trenton's going to be leading off again.
So another thing that kind of puts a little bit of pressure on is during qualifications and, you know, leading up to this, you don't have this alternated shooting style. You both shoot at the same time. You can kind of shoot at your own pace. And having these alternated things, you have to almost be forced to know what the other person's shooting. A lot of times, you know, an archer tries not to look at the other target, tries not to know what their opponent is shooting. But here, you have no choice. And it really puts pressure on hearing not only what you're shooting, but your opponent is as you sit there and watch them.
Yep. Justin shot a 9 there, so you open the door a little bit for Trenton. Yeah, the alternating format is a little different mindset. You have to go into it as soon as you start drawing. You know that arrow has to leave. That another 10 there. Yeah. That arrow has to leave pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where in our qualifications, we've got 4 minutes to shoot 6 arrows. If something doesn't feel right, you can let down, reset, and then shoot the arrow again. So this does put a lot of pressure on you. It's a totally different mindset when you come into it, where you drop back and you know it has to leave.
Yep.
Justin with a nice answer there and a 10. So Trenton is up 1 point on this end.
Wind's starting to pick up here. Not too strong, but
9.
So it leaves the door open for Justin. If he can shoot a 10 here, we're going to have another tied set. Yes, there's a 10, so another tied set, tied 4-4 now.
This is exciting. I'm loving every second of this.
You see all these people in the crowd with their binoculars and stuff watching. They're all pretty amazed at what these guys are doing. So with the set system, so the next end is going to tell us either we're going to have a winner or we're going to have a tie.
Yep.
And if there's a tie, it'll be a 1 arrow shoot off closest to center. Obviously, if someone wins the next end, they're going to win it outright. But that is kind of the fun thing with the set system.
Yeah, and these guys are both dialed in, so it will be a fight for no matter what they do. It's going to be a fight for the gold.
Yep.
But both seem to be handling the pressure very, very well. I mean, 30s and 29s in the gold medal match. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that.
30s and 29s, and you're looking at 21 and 48 years old.
Yep.
Like two completely different ends of the spectrum as far as like
and
their
stages
career,
of life, you know,
career and where they've been in, as far as archery goes. One's a newer shooter in it. The other one's won the pinnacle, won an Olympic gold medal. So having these two shooters of this caliber out here and shooting as well as they are is really, really fun to watch. So Trenton will lead off this end.
Another bit of a long hold. I was nervous
Yeah.
there, but nailed the X. These guys are making it look a little too easy.
This is not this easy. Leave the door open there. Makes a little click adjustment to his sight. So that tells me he thought that was a really good shot, but it didn't hit where he thought it should. So he's going to move his sight to compensate for where it hit and where he thought it should have landed.
Wow.
Wow.
Right next to the first one for Trenton. 2 X's so far.
So Justin needs a minimum of 2 10s here to force a tie.
10.
And if Trenton shoots a 10 here, he wins outright.
He's got it, yeah. That's a lot of pressure, though, just like knowing that you're up and knowing that you have to put this in the 10 to really win. It's
Oh, and a 10.
wow,
Wow,
that came down
what
to the
a
very
group.
last second.
Holy cow.
My heart stopped for a second. Quite literally down to the last second. If he had waited a second longer to release, it would have been counted as a miss.
What a great ending to that match. That was pretty amazing.
That is insane.
So,
and still 29 to
Yeah.
finish off for Justin. That is.
those guys pushed each other the entire way. I mean, that was the best match of the day.
Yes, absolutely. What a great way to finish here at the Buckeye Classic, because that was, I was on the edge of my seat. My heart stopped.
Yeah, you guys can't see the timer, but Trenton literally came down to the last second for him to release that arrow.
Yeah.
And to put a group down there that you could put a quarter over.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an amazing group for him under that pressure, and knowing he only had 1 second to get that arrow gone.
Yeah. It's going to be really exciting to see these guys go for not only at nationals, but for that Olympic trials to see what they do, because that was some of the best shooting I've seen in a while in these gold medal matches.
And think about how long Justin's been doing this, and to be
Yeah.
able to push the younger generation like that to the end and then have Trenton come out on top was
Yep.
awesome.
There was no letting up for either of them. That was probably the most intense match of
Yeah.
the day.
That was pretty enjoyable
They
to
both
watch.
looked relieved walking off.
It's over.
And we're going to get an
All right.
interview then from Trenton.
All right.
You were just talking there at the end with Justin. What a match. The quality of the archery there. I mean, your exhale there says it all.
That was speechless match. Like, we were both on every single arrow, and I just had to stick to my process, continue breathing, and just one after another, and not worry about what he's shooting. He's not worrying what I'm shooting, and that was an insane match. I've been shooting very well, and I'm very happy to bring it here out to the competition field.
I think it's 27 years ago, around about today, that man was winning gold medal at the Olympic Games in Atlanta, and here he is still competing against you, a high quality match. What about his performance?
His performance was insane. I think I have no clue how many points either one of us dropped because I was focusing on myself. But yeah, he was not letting up, and I was not letting up. It came down to the last arrow. Every single arrow mattered in that match.
How much of that at that point comes down to mental rather than technical?
At the level I think we shot this, it was almost to luck. We were both shooting great shots, judging the wind perfectly. We both shot fantastic.
And where does this rank in the year that you've had? I mean, obviously collegiates was obviously a big affair, and then what does the rest of the year hold in store for you?
So the next tournament I'm looking forward to is Olympic trials. So I'm really excited. I've been working really hard, shooting really well, and this is just going to give me a ton of confidence going into Olympic trials and the tournaments to come. I think I also have Pan American Games, which I'm excited for later this year as well.
And momentum building towards this gold medal match, and then you look across and you see Justin Hewish, and again, he's not been in that position. I spoke to him this morning, and he said, every blind squirrel and all that, and I think he was being a little humble
modest.
there, a little
he's,
modest.
He's a phenomenal shot. He's the longevity he's had in this sport. He's still at the top of his game. Just with this match here, it's incredible.
What does that tell you about your game, though, how you play today?
That I got to keep doing what I'm doing and trust my shot. I'm very confident with how I've been shooting, and I'm very happy to come out here and show it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's going to be a wrap for us here at the 2023 Buckeye Classic. I want to thank Ace Archers for all their hard work getting this tournament. I know they put a ton of work into this every year, and it's one of the best run tournaments that we go to year in and year out. And what a great match to end the day on.
Absolutely, that was exciting, and I'm so excited to see what happens the rest of the year for both of those guys. And for everyone who shot, I mean, those were some really strong scores across the board. I mean, we had the rain, we had the sun, we had the wind, all just in those last few matches. So everyone shot so strong, and it's very exciting to be here and a lot of pressure. Everyone handled it spectacularly.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, guys, and hope you enjoyed this coverage of the 2023 Buckeye Classic.